Welcome back again. Doing more painting again. Why? Because that's kind of what I do. I paint and build things. And then if I don't get to use them in role playing games after a while, I end up selling those things. So I mean, it's like a wicked circle where I'm like, oh my God, I have to get as much of this stuff as possible and paint it all up and, whatever. And then literally at some point, I end up being all like, I'm never going to use this stuff. None of my friends want to play this game. Woe is me. And then I sell the stuff online for probably half of what I paid for it. So, it's like, helping the old game community, do its thing. That's me. I doubt anybody's up this early, but I got a doctor's appointment at 1. It'll be an easy one though. It's just go in. They're gonna ask me how I feel. I'm gonna say about the same as always, and they're gonna be like, "Okay, go home." That's the hoops you gotta jump through. You know what I mean? I mean, it's all for show since all of the issues I have, which don't stop me at least from painting and having a good time that way, but they do. You know, they are chronic issues, so kind of sucks. You know what I mean? And it's like there's nothing more awesome than going to a doctor and having the doctor tell you, hey, this thing you have, you're going to have it forever. So buckle up, buttercup. That's just how it is, And you're just like, awesome. Awesome. That's the best. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Nobody wants to go to the doctor and have some douchebag tell them, you will never get better. You are proper fucked. Yes. That is the word from Snatch I was looking for. Got some packages in. If I can, not drop them. Pretty impressed with this guy. Nerdy Minis out of Peachtree, Georgia. And why I'm impressed with him is because the selection of like really weird things that I wanted was tremendous. So Nerdy Games out of Peachtree, Georgia. Yeah, you've got a happy customer for life. Nerdy Games. You really do. Because I mean, now some of you are going to be like, why is James buying 3D printed models when he owns a 3D printer? And I'll tell you why. Because some of the prices on some of these things from Etsy are cheaper than it would literally cost me to make them. Hey, what's up, Bubba? How you doing, homie? So I kinda in the middle of the night. That's when I do all my shopping in the middle of the night. When, I'm not thinking right, I guess. And I have no excuse for what I bought. Because apparently, we'll open some of these up and look at them. I always say apparently when it's like, no, 100% I did this, right? I went on some kind of weird kick with this particular seller who, like I said, I'm a big fan of. And I bought like a shit ton of this guy right here is just a sergeant for Dune. Just a Dune sergeant. So or officer for a house or minor house. I have my reasons. But let's see if we can find something a little bit more interesting to some of you nerds. Wrestling with a baby. Well, that's fun. I mean, you know. Just watch out. Those babies, they cheat. They cheat. I think, though, I win the competition for who had the most fun this week. And that's cleaning diarrhea from a dog out of a Roomba. Yeah, I think that wins. So here's the first one you guys are going to look at and be like, really? He bought this? Why would he buy this? All he ever does is talk about how he don't like comics and stuff. It's Deadpool, the Merc with the mouth. And why did I buy it? Don't know. It was $3, and I thought it'd be fun to paint Deadpool. I mean, I don't know. But I ended up going on this little spree, a little bit of a spree, not a total spree, but a little bit of a spree, and buying a bunch of superheroes. Like, here we have, of course, one of my favorite Marvel characters from the cartoon, which I did watch the cartoon. The one that started out with the music that was all like dun 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 dun. Well, it's Gambit throwing exploding cards at people. Gambit was always one of my favorites from that cartoon. As a matter of fact, Gambit and Rogue were my favorites for sure. I mean, you know, these things were cheaper than I could have made them, and they come with their own bases that have tabs so that you can set the figures in, and they're standing there without glue. Of course they're going to get glued, but I mean, so some of you might be wondering what else is, you know, dude, I bought a lot of superheroes. There's only one superhero I didn't buy that I regret not buying now. And who knows, if I get a little bit more money in the future and I'm like, I'll spend $30. Maybe I'll buy some of the guys I didn't buy. But one of them I didn't buy that now I regret is Superman. And that has nothing to do with the fact that there's a Superman movie out or anything like that. It's just, I mean, how do you have a bunch of, you know, superheroes and not have Superman? You know, Soups has got to be there. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. I mean, you can have the Merc with the mouth. Sure, he's freaking Marvel. I know, Marvel, DC, whatever. But whether you're a Marvel fanatic or a DC guy, everybody recognizes that Superman is the badass. Like, there's no one in comics as badass as Superman, except possibly Shazam, and that means also possibly Black Adam. But you know, I guess maybe Bizarro Superman. Solomon Grundy to a point. The problem with Solomon Grundy though is like, yeah, you can't kill him and he's super strong and everything, but at the end of the day, he really, what's he gonna do? Superman, if he want to, could literally just grab Solomon Grundy, fly his ass to the moon, and dump him off there. Now, Solomon Grundy would live because he's actually not alive. So being on the moon would not kill Grundy, but it would kind of take him out of, rotation for basically ever until maybe a super villain saved him because they wanted him to owe them and they wanted Grundy to, they're like, let's save Solomon Grundy, and then that way he'll join us on our mission to do something. That's basically it. That's the only way to deal with that. I mean, people got to respect. They got to understand. You're dealing with Superman. There is no thing in DC, especially. Marvel maybe gets kind of weird, but that can deal with Superman. It's like you don't even try. Now this one I had to get because this young lady, I've seen her in a couple of covers and stuff, and I've always loved her. She'll be hard to paint because she's a little small, but Power Girl. Power Girl, the one that had the like boob window in her white uniform. I mean, who doesn't love Power Girl, right? I mean, come on. She's super strong, except against like pure elements or something, which is a weird weakness to have. It's like, I am super strong against anything except for any pure element, in which case I'm not strong and it could actually kill me. That is, okay. All right. They come with like bases that are all like scenic. So I like that. I hope they don't get in the way of the painting, but So got Power Girl, paint her big boobs. It'd be interesting to take like I hope Bear probably has a PDF of the heroic game he's working on. It might be interesting to let players pick a character and try to make it with Bear's superhero game. Heroic again, advertising for Bear over here, like I'm his manager and shit. But anyway, and just let them play. Hey, why are you yelling at me?
Not.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Do you see what I'm doing?
Painting.
Well, no, I'm opening some figures I bought that are all of Marvel and DC superheroes.
Oh, neat.
So far, I've unboxed Gambit, Deadpool, and Power Girl. I think they also might have called her Miss Marvel. She's the one that wore all white and had the big window cut into her uniform so you can see it real good.
I think in some continuities, she's actually a clone of Supergirl.
Yeah. She's like super powerful except for Ice Baby. Okay, I get that. Yeah, that was actually
So I'm guessing you didn't get Matter Eater Lad.
No, he only had like the standard guys. But let's look at Avo Plus, Ice Baby. When I was in Iraq, they gave us a cassette tape because they wanted us to be happy. and it had like Led Zeppelin, All of My Love, and a bunch of other songs. And one of the songs it had on it was Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. So when you're like bored and you're like sitting in the back of the Bradley, and you're just like whatever, and you're literally your only entertainment is playing checkers on a chessboard or a checkerboard that you made out of the top of an MRE box, and you're using like the water bottle caps to represent the
Now, James, if you ever get supervillains, there's one that you really need to get.
who is it?
Snowflame.
Snowflame?
Yeah. He gets his superpowers by doing cocaine.
Yeah, there's a guy on the internet that's like that. He's named he's named Cotton Bellers, by God, 3-7 infantry, damn fine soldiers. Yeah, he's a guy on the internet. He's always talking about, how he wants to take over Hollywood one coke line at a time. And apparently that's his superpower is he does a lot of cocaine and he's schizophrenic. No, that's what he says. He says, I'm powered by cocaine and schizophrenia. And it's like, I like watching him though. He got in a little bit of trouble though, because there for a while he had his mask and it was orange and black. So it looked a lot like what's his name? Deathshot or whatever. The guy they copied.
Deathstroke the Terminator.
No, the guy they copied.
Yeah, that's Deathstroke or Slade Wilson.
Yeah, it's the guy they copied Deadpool off of.
Yeah, they copied Deadpool of him, but
so this guy was wearing the mask, and I guess the people who actually
DC didn't like it.
Got to him, and they're like, "Look, I mean,
it's like,
not that we hate your stuff. You're doing your thing, awesome. This is called the Dark Prince. This is not a superhero, even though one could say quite possibly could be. Some of you will recognize him, though. The Dark Prince. That's Fade Rotha from the new Dune, where all the Harkonnens, for some reason, are bald, which is weird because in the book they all had red curly hair. As a matter of fact, the Baron, who's a big fat bastard with skin disorders, when he was a young man, he prided himself on his physicality. Except then he effed over the Bene Gesserit and they reordered his DNA so that, he would have that skin disease forever and get really fat. So, like, even no matter what the Baron does to try not to get really fat, he's going to get really fat. Because, he did something the Bene Gesserit didn't like. Here we have my buddy Tony's favorite character. It's one of the Green Lanterns.
Oh, which one? Hal Jordan.
This is
John
the white
Stewart.
I think the original.
Hal Jordan, then. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the new ones. It was just like this guy.
There's like 3 different white ones and a black one. Which John Stewart's the black one. Hal Jordan's the first one. He's the test pilot. Then there's the redhead guy who's angry all the time. I can't remember his name. And then there's the artist guy.
Right. Well, whichever. I mean, I don't know because I don't know superheroes other than the fact that for some reason I decided to buy a bunch of them.
I know a little bit.
This is the original one. I think this is the one that Ryan Reynolds played.
I remember a lot about the old 90s superhero stuff, like, the Batman, Superman, and then the Justice League after that.
So I like that they got him on like decorated base, and he's kind of
Yeah.
getting ready to lift off and do his thing. Kind of dig it. So yeah, I got a mix of Dune and superheroes.
Also in the '90s. I also watched a lot of Marvel cartoons too. So
Oh, dude, I
I
remember the X-Men cartoon was the best.
yeah, I've watched that one.
The one that was
Yeah, I know.
here's a
The one
villain.
they tried to reboot and didn't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, they should have known the second they gave Rogue a flat ass, it was never going to work. Here's the thing, and I think Asmongold said this, talking about how the Japanese make all the women in their video games like
Super
very
hot.
attractive,
Yep.
and America does everything to make the women in their video games ugly. And what he basically said is young men watch these play these video games, right? And a lot of times, whether you like it or not, they jerk off to the female characters or whatever, right? And that's kind of what makes them popular. And the Japanese companies, for some reason, understand that. They understand that these characters are, in fact, like waifu,
Waifu
pretend
games.
girlfriend for a lot of like guys that don't have a girlfriend. So, I mean, if you're going to have a waifu that's your virtual girlfriend, basically. I mean, you don't want her to look ugly as shit. I mean, why would you do that, right?
Japan definitely scored the market on the gotcha waifu games.
So I do got a bad guy here. I don't know if you'll be able to tell which bad guy he is.
Uh, Not really. It's hard to tell with the
Yeah,
the.
because of the fact that my camera's
Uh, is that Deadshot?
that is Deadshot. You got it right.
Yeah, there's different versions of him, so it's hard to tell sometimes because some of his looks can be kind of generic looking.
Well, he's got the bullseye on his forehead.
Yeah.
And I guess his special ability is he just never misses when he throws shit.
Yeah, well, if he uses guns or throws anything, it's supposed to never miss.
Yeah, I remember one of the movies I think I watched. They had that Irish guy playing him, and he like killed a dude with a paperclip because he basically took the paperclip and unfolded it, and then just whipped it at the dude and stuck it right in his neck. Because I like that character too. I forget his name, but he's been in a lot of really great movies.
Oh, you mean the actor?
The actor, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because when I think of Deadshot, I mean he's so forgettable to me.
He's he's kind of like a jabroni. Like to use some WWF terms. He's kind of like a jabroni. He's kind of like the guy that shows up that is kind of meant to lose.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Whereas like a guy like Magneto, you never know. Is he going to lose? Or is he going to win? Is he going to fight him to a draw? Magneto would basically, in the wrestling world, he would be like the top card. He would be like, Undertaker or old Hulk Hogan or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you heard, oh man, there's a fight tonight between Magneto and basically the entire X-Men. I mean, that's a fight you want to see, right?
True.
Whereas Deadshot, he's kind of like he's
the street thug.
Yeah, he's like the guy that's there because they're paying him $100. And so here we got the new Flash.
New Flash, huh? One of the younger Flashes. I kind of like the old school Flash.
Yeah, I
Well,
do
not
too.
old school because
With
I'm
the wings.
no, I forgot about that one. I meant the what was he? The Barry Allen version.
I know one of them was like in college and was working on some chemicals and it effed him up.
That was Barry Allen. Or no, wait, no, that was the first one.
He
Then
was like a football player, but he is also like a chemist.
Jay Garrick. That's Jay Garrick.
And then, of course, the original Flash had the helmet with the wings.
I thought that was also Jay Garrick. Maybe I'm mixing two up now.
I don't
Maybe.
know. I didn't know there were more than one Flash, to be
Oh,
brutally
there's
honest.
quite a few. There's the original Flash, which was Jay Garrick. There's the Barry Allen. Then there's like the third one, which I can't remember his name.
See, I'm learning things because, yeah, I had no idea. This next guy, I'm going to glue him down for
Barry
a
Allen
second.
was the forensic scientist one who gained it. I think he gained it from the chemicals that you were talking about, actually.
Now, I have a bro. You guys have heard me talk about my ultra liberal bro that comes over and plays D&D, and even though we're so politically different, he's been my friend for 30 years and I love him like a brother. He is a Green Lantern super fan. Like I 3D printed a Green Lantern ring for him
Oh, cool.
and painted it, the jade color and everything.
Nice.
I still have one laying around here, but it's much smaller. So it's more or less would be like you could display it,
Now
but you couldn't wear it.
the only thing Green Lantern I really liked was mainly John Stewart from the Justice League, and then there was that one weird cartoon that they came up with one time.
Now,
With
I
Hal Jordan.
remember the Green Lantern. I watched a lot of the show where it was the black dude and he was kind of dating Hawk Girl or something like
Yeah, that
that.
was in Justice League, and yeah, that was John Stewart.
And they
He was
were fighting. The episode I saw, they were trying to fight Solomon Grundy.
not a bad episode.
But then in the end, they kind of had to just talk to him about shit because they realized like none of them could beat his ass, because it's Solomon Grundy. You know what I mean?
Not much you could do about Solomon Grundy. He doesn't just you can't just really beat him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The only one that could beat Solomon Grundy would be Superman.
Even then,
And
it would be
only if
temporarily.
Superman just grabbed him and flew him to the moon and left him there.
Or just launched him into space.
Right. It's like you're not really beating him, you're just removing the issue for a while. And then in that storyline, some evil organizations going to decide they need Solomon Grundy to help him do
Something
some
will bring
shit.
him back eventually. Maybe he gets hit by a meteor and it brings him back.
Yeah, I mean he's coming back. You already know that. That's Solomon Grundy's special power. Really is the fact that MFer is always going to come back. So, I like Solomon Grundy. I know he's a bad guy, but sometimes he's not really a bad guy.
Sometimes bad guys are also fun to watch. I mean, Batman has some of the best rogues because of like Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. Bad guys got a lot of the best.
Especially the 90s. Well, at least with the 90s Mr. Freeze, because the older Mr. Freeze was just a generic bad guy. The 90s Mr. Freeze had nuance and was fun.
Right.
Then there's like Spider-Man with some of his rogues, which were pretty good. I kind of like Dr. Octavius and some of his iterations.
Ock is just, what are you going to do? It's Doc Ock, right? He's awesome.
Yep. The power of the sun in my hands.
Yeah. You ever notice most of Peter Parker's enemies were like people he was friends with?
Yeah.
It was like,
or around him at least. I mean,
yeah, it was
seriously.
like in Peter Parker, the majority of his nemesis were people that were either professors at his college or friends of his or frenemies at university.
There was also Eddie Brock, who was kind of an enemy to him.
Well, Eddie Brock was just the reporter that was constantly, trying to outdo him and everything.
Yeah.
Eddie
The only
Brock.
character that. Oh wait, no. Actually, I forgot that. Well, no. There's one character that literally had nothing to do with Parker, really.
Who's that?
Sandman.
Sandman?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, he was the guy trying to take the car, but he didn't really kill Parker's uncle.
Yeah. So of course you'll recognize this guy right away.
Captain America.
Yeah, and it's
Used to
the
be-
original.
He's kind of one of my favorite heroes.
What's weird is physically he's just like a
He's human.
character in D&D with an 18 in like almost every stat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's got 25 strength or anything. It's not like he could ever like go toe to toe with Juggernaut or the Hulk in a strength situation.
Yeah, no.
They're going to run him over. But it's the fact that he's also got 18 in dex, 18 in intelligence,
Yeah, he's basically the physical human.
He is the perfect human being. But at the end of the day, still, unfortunately for him, only human.
With like an incredibly powerful shield.
With a shield that, yeah.
It's kind of a magical shield that does whatever it needs.
Does whatever it needs at the time. Like sometimes it'll bounce off of shit, but other times it'll just cut that shit in half.
Yeah.
Just depends, like who knows why.
Also, he's not afraid to use guns. That's one thing.
No, that dude carried a pair of 45s, didn't he?
Yeah, I think in the original run he carried guns constantly. He used a lot. I think he even used like an MP40 on one of the comics.
Well, I mean, he was fighting the Third Reich.
Yep.
So the original Captain America, like the one I remember seeing, he was dressed like a GI, except for the mask and the freaking shield,
Yeah.
But otherwise, he was wearing like army issue uniform. He had like the LB with grenades and a couple of 45s.
I find it especially funny because a lot of there was just like a cartoon about it, and it's like, here's Captain America, and he shoots the bad guy, and they're like, whoa, are you allowed to do that? He's like, oh, why not? That was a bad guy. Yeah, but you just shot him. It's like, yeah.
I mean, the dude spent like.
Don't you have like a moral code about it? Nope.
It's like, well, is the guy like a member of the Third Reich or an enemy soldier or something? Yeah. Well, okay then. We put rounds in him. That's what we do. I was Army infantry. What do you think? What do you think's happening over here? You got a target? You go and put some rounds in that shit. Make it happen, The other superheroes. Whoa, dude. You literally just blew his face off.
It's like, yo, what were you going to do? Well, I was going to shoot him with my laser, and that wouldn't kill him? Well, no, it doesn't do that. Why? I don't know, it just does it.
Well, because it's a 45.
No, the laser. It's,
the laser, yeah.
Iron Man.
The laser kills
that would
stuff.
also probably kill things.
Yeah, Captain America with his 45 autos. He's like, he had an interesting bad guy too, Red Skull.
Yeah, that was his main one. Yeah, was
Who
basically
Red
his
Skull was
bad guy.
basically just him, but bad. It was like, didn't Red Skull, wasn't he like some kind of super SS guy and he took the formula, but the formula effed up on him or something? And
Some versions, I think, go with that. The versions I know mostly, he's actually not, and he's just like a disfigured human.
well, he's definitely got to have a very high like intelligence.
Oh yeah, he's like one of the most intelligent people.
Because I mean, dude's super genius.
Oh.
Or you know, Cap would have tucked him out like 80 times by now, but Red
Yeah,
Skull always figures out some bullshit. So yeah, these guys. I doubt I'll ever run a superhero game, but I'll start working on these guys and I'll pick one of these shelves
just place him on it.
and clear it out and just put the superheroes on.
No,
If
Flash.
nothing else, it'll be like something to chat about with
Yeah.
people. People will be like, I mean, I got this guy. This is a Dune guy, though. You might recognize him if you've seen the new Dune.
Nope.
You've not seen the new Dune?
I haven't seen the old ones or the new ones.
Yeah, this is Duncan, Idaho.
Yeah.
In the middle of charging a bunch of Sardaukar. Duncan, Idaho was the sword master of House Atreides. And then this right here, let me see if I can find him. That's Stilgar, who was a Fremen. And they wore, of course, all deserty looking shit because their whole deal was to not get killed by the Imperium. I'll probably have to do something with him since.
Baby, I'm about to run a meeting. Could you be a little less yelly?
Am I yelling?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Hey, nice butt.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're very loud.
I'm very loud. Well, so are you sometimes, and I don't complain.
Yeah, normally loud when I'm having a meeting.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, you know I got a good relationship. I'm still flirting with her and shit. We've been together for 25 years. And I'm still like trying to put moves on. That's right. But anyway, I should tell her, don't you have an office? You have an office. But you prefer to sit in the living room. But you could just go to your office. So here we have, let's see if I can get him to stand on the miniature straight. This guy is giving me issues. Like all kinds of issues. Like my fingers are getting glued to him and I don't even know how the glue got on that part of him. Now I need to get him back. But it's Iron Man.
Iron Man. He's
Like
always drunk.
the original Iron Man, yeah. You know what's funny about the Avengers?
What's that?
Like at any minute, Thor could just whip all their asses and move on about his life. You know what I mean? It's like you literally got what's his name, Hawkeye or whatever.
Yeah.
And what's her name, Romanov.
Black Widow.
Yeah, you've got all these like basically normal humans.
And then the Hulk, who is just broken. Why? Was he
And
perfect?
then you've got like literally a god.
Or that.
It's just like,
Although funnier enough, I think that the Hulk is actually stronger than that one.
well, the thing is, the Hulk gets stronger the angrier he gets. Hey, what's up, Coco
Yes.
Beware? So the more pissed off you make him, just the stronger he gets. which means the harder to deal with he is. But again, you pull the Superman on the Hulk. You just launch his ass in space. Be like, well, sayonara, green dude. Have a good time out there, you know?
Okay.
Problem solved, right? If you just throw him into space. Coco, I have purchased from an Etsy dealer a bunch of, I think these are mostly Marvel superheroes. And I am opening the packages. The reason I bought 3D prints instead of making them is because these were actually cheaper for me to buy than they would have been for me to make. You know, I mean, if you can get a bunch of miniatures for $3 a piece, honestly, because of the price of resin, that is not a bad deal. And also, it means that you don't have to deal with all the bullshit that goes along with resin, you know, the cleaning, the you know, messing with everything and trying not to get resin on you, because I'm pretty sure if you get it on you too much, it soaks through your skin and gives you kidney failure or something. I mean, you know, now once it's cured, it's absolutely inert. You could literally insert it into your body and it would just not do anything. But while it's in liquid form, you do not want to mess with this shit. Even the water rinsable stuff I use, which is slightly, let's say, less toxic than the kind that has to be done with isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, slightly. I mean, you still don't want to be effing around with it. All right, I'm trying to glue the Scarlet Witch to her base.
Oof. Well, I figured out how to store wine.
In a basement.
Well, in Vintage Story, in the game, well, you have to find a liquid storage container,
Oh,
and I got it to where it'll last 4 years,
what is that like?
4 or 5 years.
Like, is that like Animal Crossing or something?
It's more like Minecraft, but very hardcore and with a story.
Yeah. For my story, I passed my 5th challenge of a cool, so I'm one step closer to figuring out what it is to be a Fremen. And I am a max level Harkanian or Harkonnen agent, which means they're always calling me up and sending me out to kill stuff. Because according to Peter DeVries, I am his sharpest tool right now.
Like distilling wine into spirits. How do you do that?
Well, you have to. Well, it tells you you distill.
I know, but in the game, I don't know how that works in
Well,
Vintage Story.
you're going to need a distillery, obviously, and you'll put the wine in, and the wine will, you know, take all the alcohol out of the wine and concentrate it. Why you would do that, I don't know, when you could just use corn or rye, you know.
So I'm guessing I need to make a boiler and a condenser, maybe?
Yeah, you would need a boiler because you got to bring the alcohol up to the temperature that alcohol becomes a
Okay.
gas, but that water doesn't. You see what I mean? See, this guy I got, and he is not a Marvel superhero at all. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell who he is, but I had to get him.
Uh,
I'll give you a hint. He's a G.I. Joe.
oh, Snake Eyes?
It is Snake Eyes.
Okay.
Had to have Snake Eyes. I saw the miniature and I was like, yeah, I gotta have Snake Eyes. I mean, yeah, he might not be whatever. But you know what? If you're playing a superhero game, Snake Eyes could fit in.
Yeah.
If you had a player that was just like, I'm a super trained ninja guy. I mean, that's basically all Deadpool is. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, except you know who you get to blame for Deadpool's um, skill and whatever at killing people the way he does. The United States Army. Remember, Deadpool was Green Beret before he become Deadpool.
Okay, well, nope, spirits are not the what I was thinking it was going to be. I might just keep it wine.
So,
Wine will last forever
and
anyway.
we'll show her off. This is the Red Witch. You know, doing Red Witch stuff.
Wait, you mean Scarlet Witch?
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she's the one that fell in love with the robot and freaking
In the movies, yeah.
did a bunch of stupid shit.
Yeah. And probably the comics. Comics can get really weird and stupid.
Yeah.
And terrible. I mean, some of the old Marvel comics were just so really bad.
Dude, yeah. Do you remember that era when they were really pushing hard to make Squirrel Girl popular?
Oh, God.
And it was like no one gives a shit about this autistic squirrel girl. You know, it's like
Yeah,
not
no,
to be
I don't.
mean, but it's like no one cares.
She's probably one of the worst characters other than Miss Marvel.
She's just terrible, you know. It's like
Everybody also hated Miss Marvel. Literally everybody. I don't think you could find a fan of that character.
see, I like Miss Marvel because she had huge tits and you could see her cleavage.
Other than that, though, she was just terrible. Like she was like the worst character.
I don't know anything about her character. The only thing I know about her character is she wore white and had huge tits, and you could see the cleavage.
That's not Miss Marvel.
Power Girl?
Yeah, that's Power Girl.
Well, whichever one had the boob windows, you know, in the
Miss
uniform.
Marvel wore a black outfit and had like cosmic powers or something like that. But
Yeah, we're talking about different people then. I'm talking about the one that wore the white, sexy uniform and had the big cutout here so you could see the cleavage really good. Because, like, Asmongold was not wrong. I mean, if I'm going to read a comic book with a female hero in it, I mean, if I'm a 17-year-old boy, I want to be able to jerk off to it if I want to. I mean, I'm not saying anyone should. You know, that's sin. We shouldn't be jerking off. But if you're selling comics, you want the female characters to at least be of a level that a dude could, if they wanted to, jerk off to them. And then people will be like, well, women, blah, blah. Women don't buy comic books that much.
No,
I mean, and they'll buy. And also, here's what's crazy. Like, I have gamed with a lot of women. A lot of different women, different ages, etc. Right? Not a single one of them chose to play an ugly character. They all wanted to play the beautiful, big boobs, just perfect, you know, like super beautiful Scarlett Johansson character. You know, none of them wanted to play like some troglodyte. So I don't understand where that whole idea in modern D&D even comes from. Because it's not reality.
it's people who want to complain on behalf of others.
Yeah, it is not
It's
reality.
signaling to the nth degree.
And I've played a lot of MMOs, including my last one I played was Final Fantasy 14. And I'll tell you what, I never seen a single female character running around in that game that wasn't kind of smoking hot, except for those little whatevers. The
Lalafell.
little, yeah, I don't care for them. But the elves and humans were all smoking hot, every one of them. So it's like, yeah, the Japanese figured it out, you know? You're going to make a female character, or there's going to be female characters in the whatever, the product. You make them waifus because that makes the male customers very, very happy. And the whole point is to make the male characters, or the male players, I should say, very, very happy. That is the point. So, you know, I liked what's her name when she played the little bear in Game of Thrones. I thought that was fine, whatever, right? But having her in The Last of Us, and it's like you can tell she's got some extra chromosomes. You know what I mean? You probably don't even know who I'm talking about, but
No, I haven't played The Last of Us or
watch the show. Well, the show is terrible. It's exactly what you expect it to be, you know. They actually made it even worse because they added in this kind of weird, like, the girl is like constantly like hating on Joel for shit, you know.
Of course.
And, you know, it's just like, Joel, why are you walking this bitch halfway across America? And all she's doing is like talking shit about everything you do. You know, it's like, dump her ass off somewhere. Now, this guy comes from a thing that, I don't know, you may not even recognize him, but I saw him and had to have him.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is Supernatural.
I was going to say it looks like something from Supernatural. I didn't watch Supernatural, but it looked like it was going to be something from that.
Well, you remember the angel that was always helping him out?
Yeah, I've seen clips of that.
Yeah, he always wore like the long brown coat, and he was really like a normal laid back dude, but behind the scenes he was an angel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I saw him as an angel, I was like, yeah, I got by that just so I can paint it and show it to my mom, because she is a huge fan of Supernatural. I mean, to the point that she's watched like every episode like 5 times, you know. And yeah, you know, it's like, okay, Mom, whatever, you know. You do you. Okay, this guy, you'll be like, whatever, but it's a second Deadpool.
Second Deadpool.
Except this Deadpool is like in an action pose. So he's like running. He's got a couple of Uzis out. You know, he's like gunning some people down or some shit. You know, doing Deadpool shit, you know.
Yep.
The only thing we can hope is the people he's gunning down are actually people
Bad guys, because
yeah, I mean,
not always the case. He's a mercenary, so he takes on a lot of,
you know,
questionably moral jobs.
Yeah. Let's hope he's not like gunning down some pizza delivery guy because he got paid some money to do it. I love that too. That went in the movie and the guy's like, I just stuck a big shit in the cat's litter box. And the guy's like, I don't own a cat. Well, whose litter box did I just shit in? And like, it's just like, I don't think that guy's right. And it's true. He is not right. He is definitely But this is Deadpool in his action pose, so he's kind of running, and there's like smoke behind him where he's running. He's got a couple Uzis out, doing his thing. Why? Because I like Deadpool. Actually, of all the superhero movies that have come out recently, Deadpool's the only one I liked. And I even tried watching like Doctor Strange and shit like that, and I was like, nah. It's like, this sucks. But Deadpool was so funny. It was like a comedic superhero, except he's killing like 1,000 people.
The big thing about Deadpool is in his comics, he really liked breaking the fourth wall a lot.
That is one of his super abilities, apparently.
Yes, he breaks the fourth wall.
Deadpool is aware he's a comic book character.
Yep.
So, yeah, he breaks the fourth wall a lot because he's just like, whatever, he knows he's a comic book character, so he's not like.
There was also the whole line of comics where he defeats the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah. My daughter told me about that. I have a daughter that's kind of a Marvel fan, she's way more into the comics than I am. But she, sometimes we talk about it, and she keeps me up to date about what's going on. Her primary comics that she reads a lot though are oh shit. Last Airbender.
Last Airbender?
Yeah, they made a shit ton of comics about the Last Airbender, like what happened between like him settling everything down with the Fire Nation and him growing up.
Yeah, I do.
Like, because he had to go on a quest to find his mom.
Find it. Yeah, for Zuko, yeah. Zuko went to find his mother. Yeah.
Yeah, Zuko needed to find his mom, and
bookend at the end of Avatar.
So there's like was a whole thing.
Some of it was good, some of it was bad, from what I've seen.
Well, I mean, yeah, but she had to have it, so I remember buying her one of the big trade paperbacks last Christmas, I think. Okay, this is weird. I do remember buying this, but I probably bought it just because the figure has a nice rack. I'll be honest. If you put a nice rack on a figure, I'm probably buying it.
That's how I download certain images.
And that's well, I don't download images or anything, but
hey, I might need them eventually for D&D, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I will do what I said, and then when I let the girls at my D&D game, I'm like, okay, pick the miniature you want to represent you. You know which ones they pick. You know what I'm saying? They're picking
universal constant.
Yep. They're picking that sexy chick with the boobs, hanging out, and
everybody likes boobs.
Everybody likes boobs, man. Yeah. It's like it's your first thing, the first thing in the entire world that you liked was boobs. Because you're a little baby. This is apparently a female Green Lantern.
Yeah, they had some of those. Although I don't ever remember a human one. There were alien ones, though.
I'm assuming she might be a human, but she is carrying the Green Lantern in her hand. The actual lantern.
Wait, are her ears pointy?
They look like they might be just a bit pointy, yeah.
Oh, she might be that one alien chick that had to kill her father.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, her dad went tyrannical. Then she had to deal with it.
Okay. You see, got a lot of stuff in here. Oh, I didn't show you, but I don't know if you'll guess who he is or not. But I had to have this guy too.
uh, not sure.
He is Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
And I had to get him because the Luke Cage miniseries was awesome.
That's good.
Like, it was honestly one of the best superhero miniseries ever.
That's good.
Plus, Luke Cage's whole deal is he's strong, but he's like really tough.
Yep.
That's kind of his deal. It's like,
He's
you
one of the.
want to kill Luke Cage, you better bring your A game because
Yeah.
that dude.
He's one of those that's really hard to kill.
Yeah, he's just
And he's usually like buddies around with Power Fist.
Yeah, so
Did they have Power Fist in the Luke Cage thing?
this guy's just got a chain.
Yeah, I know, but there's another guy that pals around with him called Power Fist. He's a martial artist.
I haven't seen that, but you know, I had to get Luke Cage because a couple of reasons. One, I like Luke Cage. I think Luke Cage is a cool character. And two, and I don't mean the old goofy one where he was wearing the green frickin' whatever and had the headband on. And two, if we were going to play a superhero game, even if I said these are characters you can pick, but you can make any character you want and just use these for your miniatures, Hungar would pick Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Because in most modern games, given the option to pick like a black dude or not, he picks a black dude. Not that I can say much because in our Call of Cthulhu game, I always play a black guy named James Culver. Who I've told you in that game, James Culver can see ghosts.
Yeah.
And he plays trumpet. He's a blues musician. So a lot of times he spends his time in the graveyard at night playing music.
Well, James, guess what I made for DM Beelzebub's?
What did you make?
Well, depending on my previous characters, what do you think?
Very last superhero over here. But depending on what, you made what?
You know, just out of what you know of me, what do you think I made? I just want to know.
Probably some kind of gnome.
Close.
So what was it?
A halfling thief.
Yeah, that's a good standard. You know what I mean? Like every group needs a halfling thief. That's true. I mean, someone's got to die horribly to all those traps.
Oh, so, hey, if I do, I got a backup idea.
Me, I'm always like, look, they put this guy. I wonder if they gave me the wrong base for this guy because there's simply no way he's fitting on this base with the tab actually in the place. It's just not even possible. So
name-wise, I had an issue. I couldn't think of a good name, so I just named him Brian.
Brian?
Brian.
All right. I mean, weird, but okay.
I was just thinking, what can I name him? I'm like, I don't know. What was an old game I liked? Oh,
then again, really, Brian is a good name, depending on the last name, because that's the name that's gonna let people know you are a halfling. Like well, if your last name, if your name is Brian, like Thistle Whistle or some shit, then people are going to be like, yeah, that's a halfling. You know what I mean?
Oh boy,
Brian, you know, likes 12Zs or something. Brian of, you know, the Shire if there is a Shire in Bubba's game. Because, I mean, you are right. A lot of halflings had normal names. It was always the last name that was a little bit like Brandy Buck. You know what I mean?
I was probably just going to find a random Celtic name and just put it in there.
Well, I mean, I've got a random Celtic name.
What's that?
McKee.
I guess. I could call him McKee. There. Brian McKee.
That's actually my name, though.
I know.
And I actually have a relative named Brian. So you would be playing a character named after one of my relatives,
I'll probably find a different Celtic name, but
which I'd be totally cool with. I
fair.
give you permission to play a character. You can even change his name to James. I'd be perfectly okay with it. I don't care.
I only called him Brian because of Quest 64.
Well, see, I was thinking Monty Python, Life of Brian.
Oh, no, Quest 64, Celtland, Brian. There was a lot of Celtic mythology in it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
Celtic
it.
style game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a very not so good RPG for the N64.
Yeah, I've been running around, speaking of gaming, running around finding sandflies and bandits and just killing them and draining all their blood.
To say.
Jimmy Longshaft. Yeah, see, that's a great Ulrich Copperbottom. That's what I'm saying. It's like for a halfling,
Copperbottom sounds more like a dwarf name.
I don't know if you'll figure out who this is. You might. If you don't, I will, of course, help you.
Is that Vision?
Nope.
Oh.
I'll give you another couple guesses.
Dang, it's hard to tell with it looking like that. I seriously can't tell because it's hard to see.
Well, you're blind anyway.
Yeah.
That's Black Adam.
Oh, Yeah, I couldn't tell because, I guess
Well, one of the few DC characters that's actually like close to Superman power.
Yeah. Actually, actually can beat, he could possibly beat Superman because he is magic based. One of Superman's weaknesses.
Because he gets his power from the same source that Shazam does.
Yep. Who used to be called Captain Marvel, but then,
Yeah.
issues came up and Marvel got the name and
so they named him Shazam.
Yep.
And then of course Black Adam. Because back then any character that was actually black had to have a name that started with black.
Yeah.
So that everyone would know.
Like Black
this guy's black. Yeah, it's like so weird, right? It's like Black Panther.
Although Black Adam wasn't really like his skin wasn't black, his just outfit was.
Well, yeah, he was, according to the movie anyway, Egyptian or some shit.
Well, he was kind of more Middle Eastern, I guess.
Yeah, Persian or something. Well, then The Rock would be the perfect guy to play him since he's also, kind of racially ambiguous. Ever bite into a sausage and find it has a long hair in it? No. I could see that happening with like homemade sausage, though, if you weren't paying attention. Yeah, that could happen. I mean, we've made tons of sausage in my day, though, and never any hair. But that's the thing. Like, how when you get venison, there's always those bits of the venison that aren't really good for anything. maybe stew meat, but even then they're not good. Um, we would always go out and buy like however much we needed of pork fat, like pork belly. And then you take all of that venison, that's all the worst parts of it, like between the ribs and everything, and you mix it like one pork belly to 2 parts venison, and then spice it however you want. Like one of my favorite ways was to put jalapenos in it. Not a ton, but just enough, you know what I mean? And you know, and then run it through. We had one of those. I mean, left. You guys probably know we had one of those. You know what I mean?
Nope.
And it had the thing down here that you put the casing on, and then you drop the meat in the top and grind it.
You mean a grinder? I mean,
Yeah, we had one of those.
yeah. We never had one.
We used the shit out of it. And it was old, man. This thing looked like it was made in 1750. You know what I mean? It was made out of like wrought iron, and
Yeah, again, we never really
painted.
had those.
You could literally smell the child labor coming off of it.
Well,
I
I'm a
mean,
little young for that.
yeah, you're a little young for that, but this thing, and we would hand crank out, like anytime we killed an animal, all the parts of the animal that most people throw away, for us, become sausage.
Yeah, makes sense.
Except the offal. I mean, we didn't do anything with, like, we don't eat guts. I mean, some people might want to eat chitlins. No.
Oh, you don't like haggis?
I'm not eating. Well, yeah, no.
No.
I've ate blood pudding, black pudding. I guess haggis is probably similar to that. To be honest, I've never
It's sheep
ate
guts
haggis.
turned inside out.
I've never ate
Sheep
haggis
stomach.
because it's like not it's part of my culture. You're a lot more likely to see me when I was growing up eating like a pastrami on rye with spicy mustard. You know what I mean?
For us, it
Than
was mostly
haggis.
chicken.
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure haggis is probably not kosher. Dead Milkman song reference. Okay. Dead Milkman's not a band that I'm really, really familiar with.
Haggis is definitely not kosher. Because isn't a sheep one with a split hoof?
No, you can eat lambs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, during Passover, after you go through all the horrible shit, like eating the bitter herbs, which is like horseradish and stuff, and matzahs with no salt, and you pray and stuff. And then at the end of it, it's pretty common to serve a roast lamb.
Oh, okay.
At
Actually, it might
the
be
end
kosher.
of the celebration.
I mean, I guess it'd be depending on what you put in it.
What, haggis?
Yeah.
Well, the lamb is okay, but I'm pretty sure it's not kosher to eat blood or like organs and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not a thing you do. But like I said, my grandma ate pork all the time. All the damn time. Like pork roast, pork shoulder, pork everything. She ate pork nonstop. And this is the great grandma, I mean, that actually came from Russia. She would eat pork like it was her job. But
it's really good.
Let her catch you in the house eating meat and dairy at the same time. Oh my God, you would never hear the end of that shit. And, that's just the way, the old lady was, It's like somehow or another, she got it in her mind that you could get away with eating pork, but under no circumstances would you ever be able to justify meat and dairy. And I mean, who's going to argue with a 90-year-old babushka? You know what I mean? It's like, It's easier to just say yes, grandmother, and then go on about your way. Because I mean, really,
Talk about grandparents. My nephew, his great grandmother came to pick him up and let him play over at her house. When she got in, he's like, "Meemaw took me." Already saying Meemaw took me before he's even left.
yeah. My great grandma was like really weird. Like, as a Jewish person, you would think that she would be a little bit open minded about things, and you would be wrong because she was not. Like, she did not like the idea of one of her grandchildren dating a black girl. And she let everybody know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
vociferously, she let everybody know it. And what's weird is her best friend was a black lady. So these two would sit in the house up in Queens, and they were best friends, and they both would get mad if one of like my uncles or my dad wanted to date a black girl. And I mean, they were so weird about it that one time, this is a story my pops told me, he brought a black girl home, and both of them yelled at her and told her to get out. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? I mean, the black woman and the old Jewish, well, they're both old, but the black woman and the old Jewish woman, they both
a lot to agree on.
freaked out about the fact that the Jewish boy brought a black girl home. So it was like they were friends, and they were like also totally against race mixing and shit. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's a across both lines. It's usually considered bad. You know.
I never got it, but then again, I was a young, naive guy. I didn't know that it was illegal to marry black people until like, I don't know, the 50s. Because I remember a movie came on and some dude tried to get a hotel and like wherever they were, Mississippi or something. And so he went in, he basically, the long story short of it is, when they found out he was married to the black lady, like they called the cops. And he got in a lot of trouble, you know, they put him in jail and shit. Oh, my Roomba's unloading. Yeah, so it was Bubba, that's the way it was. You had the old New York black lady that lived in Queens, and then you had the really old Russian Jew who was new to America. She was an immigrant. I mean, first, like, not born in America. She was born in what is now northern Ukraine, the Donbass region specifically. She was Kulak. And luckily they got out of there because they read the writing on the wall, and they're like, yeah, these commies are going to kill us. So we'll go ahead and sell everything and just leave while we can. And they would both, it's like they agreed on everything, including the fact that Jewish boys should not be trying to get with black girls. So it was like they were both in their own way racist, because the old black lady thought black girls marry black boys. That's just what it is. And Jewish boys marry good Jewish girls. That's just how it is. I mean, to be fair, she'd have been the same way if one of my uncles or my pop had brought home a like a Christian white girl. She probably would have been the same way. You know what I mean?
I thought that
it
was
took her a long time to calm the F down about it.
I thought that was a big thing for Jewish families of, you know, trying to find a Jewish lady or, you know.
Oh yeah, man. Like, okay, if you're a young Jewish dude growing up, and I know this from my time in the temple, you can sleep with a non-Jewish woman. You can date them. They're called shiksas, and you can do that, right? But the goal is always to find a nice Jewish girl.
See, I believe this is only because of the changes that happened, after Jesus with what happened to Judaism.
They're just very insular in a way.
Whenever they lost their temple, they couldn't do the sacrifices, and instead of proselytizing, they wanted to try to keep their traditions.
Well, they were the worst during the uprising of 70 AD.
Yep.
One thing they don't teach is the reason the uprising of 70 AD happened, that the Romans had to come down and like put an end to it and kick a bunch of asses, because when Pilate was removed from Jerusalem, but before the new governor arrived, all of the Jews from the temple and those that believed that went on a murder spree against Christians. And it happened basically everywhere there was large concentrations of Jewish people. Because you have to remember at that time and at this time, but on the DL, Jewish people consider Christians to be heretics.
Yep.
Of the worst type. They won't tell you that, and a lot of them now have gotten to where I don't think they believe it, but back then they did. And yeah, they were killing Christians. So the Romans had to step up and put an end to it, and they caused the diaspora, which is they said, you know what, Jews aren't allowed to live all together in one place anymore. Get the fuck out of here, right?
Spread out. Just go.
Spread the fuck out and stop being assholes, right? And that's how you end up with Jewish people like everywhere.
Even around that time's also where they went from a religion of prophets to rabbis, people who said,
Right.
"Thus saith the Lord," to scholars.
Right, because the rabbi is a teacher, but they lost their prophets. And all they had was
final prophet,
teachers.
the one that they really needed, the Messiah.
Well, he was there, but a lot of them are just too hard-headed.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They just, but it says in the Bible, I believe, that God would harden their hearts. So it is all part of the plan, I guess. But yeah, the mass murdering that Jewish people did on the Isle of Cyprus was so bad that for like centuries, the Kingdom of Cyprus made it illegal to be Jewish on that island. Because they were like, yeah, we will never have these people here again.
And I mean, again, another thing is, before all that, Jews were not so insular. They would actually allow converts.
Yeah,
they celebrate.
Uriah was a convert. Of course, look how he got treated. David knocked his wife up and then sent him to the front line to die. Yeah. But that's like I always tell you, and I learned this in the temple, really, from a rabbi who told me that the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, is really just a story of people effing up and then God forgiving them and taking care of them for a while, and the people effing up again. And I mean, even in the Torah, it's like that. It's like, okay, Moses leads the idiots out of Egypt, right? Then he tells them he's got to go up a hillside and do some shit. Okay. How long was Moses gone before they forced Aaron to make a golden calf? A couple days? I mean,
I don't know exactly. It wasn't long.
It's like you saw a column of fire. You saw a sea split. you saw all these miracles, but within a week or so, you're like, F that, let's make a golden calf.
I know.
I mean,
You seen what the Egyptian gods couldn't do to the Lord, but yeah, still just went. You know what? Let's worship a golden calf.
yeah. So Moses had the golden calf boiled down, and he poured the molten gold in the mouth of the worshipers. That's how he dealt with that. So yeah, basically, yes, he killed them. Every one of them. And then they kept doubting him. That's why they wandered the desert for 40 years.
Yeah.
Because Moses wanted to wander the desert, or was commanded to wander the desert, until every single Jewish person that had anything to do with the golden calf had died. But unfortunately, he himself doubted God. And God told him he would never enter the promised land. And that's when Moses gives power over to Joseph. I think it's Joseph, right?
Yeah.
And Joseph, of course, destroys the city of Jericho. But it's interesting because when you read the actual book, it says that the Jewish people, when they arrived, they sent scouts into Canaan, and they found that Canaan was populated by giants. And that actually terrified them. But then their prophets told them, you know, the Lord is with you, so who can beat you, you know? So, yeah, they went in there. So this is a second box of things I ordered from Special Artisan Service, LLC, up in Missouri. And I have to say, both of these guys, the guy from Georgia and the guy from Missouri here, I put the order in at like 2 a.m. That shit was here 3 days late. So, yeah, Bubba, you're talking like, oh, brother, where art thou? Them boys is not white. Them boys is not white. They is miscegenated. And I have it on good authority that Negro sold his soul to the devil. And everybody in the crowd just like, shut up, let them play, go away. All right, the packaging on this one's a little bit more shady. It looks like he just threw everything I ordered into a Ziploc bag. Not super great. But he did write me a personal hand-signed letter that says, Jimmy McKee, thank you very much. That's nice. James. He wrote James. So that's nice. That's really nice of him. I appreciate it. Now let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's, yeah, Power Girl, Emerald. I'm looking to see who some of these guys. Okay. Captain America, we know. Dr. Weird, we know. Oh, the girl is, yeah, she's a Green Lantern. And I don't know if I showed you, but I also have, it'll be easy to show you, but I'll have to tell you who it is, obviously. This is Black Widow. She's kind of on the staircase pointing her dart launcher. Actually, she'd make a good Doom character too, you know?
It makes me think of Final Fantasy IX with the one girl who could launch her dog off her crossbow.
Could shoot her dog out of a crossbow.
Yeah, that was her attack. She took her dog, placed it on her arm, and shot it out of her crossbow.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's Final Fantasy for you. They do weird stuff.
They do. I remember playing Final Fantasy one time, Well, I remember playing Final Fantasy lots of times. I've still got the new Final Fantasy Tactics on my computer, but
I like that one.
yeah. The thing with Final Fantasy is like their games are like every single genre all at one time.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what the best class for Final Fantasy Tactics is?
What's that?
Calculator. You beat your opponent with math.
Beat your opponent with math.
I gotta go though. I'll see ya.
You gotta go?
Yep, groceries are here.
Catch you later, bro. So I guess it'll be just me here for a minute, showing you what I decided to order from this guy. Now here's an issue too. Etsy has a tendency to allow creators and sellers on Etsy to make miniatures that you cannot buy the STLs for anywhere. Because like there are some miniatures that I've desperately wanted for Call of Cthulhu, except you can't get them because my Roomba is unloading. I hope one day it'll be done because that thing has been running for like 3 hours. So hopefully it's done and it's going to settle down, right? But that is an issue with Etsy, is there are some creators that make a deal with Etsy. That's the actual term. Yeah. Now, luckily, things changed. But I'll tell you what, it was weird because the Jewish side of the family, when my grandmother, my pop's mom, who was first generation born in America, she married an Irish longshoreman that was a member of the Merchant Marines, and that did not go over. Eventually, after she had 4 sons, great grandma kind of loosened up on her, whatever, and was like, okay, fine, whatever. But so my pops is Jewish through the mother's line, which is how Jews in the modern day determine Judaism, right? But his father was like 100% an Irish guy from New York, from the Irish, Hell's Kitchen area, who worked as a merchant marine. So he is half Russian Jew and half Irish. He is actually more Irish than I am, and I have an Irish name. So, okay, I mean, life is like that sometimes, I guess. And so great grandma got over it and stopped being, quite so like racist about things. But there were other members of the family that never got over it. And, that's an issue for another day, since I'm showing off miniatures today. Also, I've got this sand trooper like guy, Freeman maybe, and he's got like an automatic rifle. We'll call it a Kharkov 38. And because in the new Dune universe that Dune Awakens takes place in, there are no Fremen, as far as anyone knows. I'm going to have to go ahead and paint his cloak red and then paint a sandfly symbol on it. The sandflies are like one of the gangs / slavers that roam about the Haga Basin. making a big pain in the ass of themselves more than anything, really. Like I make it my personal mission to kill as many of them bastards as I can whenever I'm out and about, and steal their blood, because I carry blood bags and a blood extractor. So anytime I kill one of them, I take their blood, because I can always take it back to my house. And I have a machine that converts human blood to pure water. It's not a 1-to-1, obviously. And then, of course, it gets rid of the waste material. So, now my bro, he's done all the quests and unlocked all the stuff. So he's actually got a Fremen dehydrator where you can put a dead body in it, and over the course of however long, it will completely dehydrate the dead body and then give you all the water. And that's good, because the human body contains quite a bit of water. You'd be surprised, right? So I need to get on the ball and get that thing going too, but it's pretty difficult. And I'm more of, like, in this game, and probably in a lot of MMOs, people would tell you that I'm the guy that likes to kind of just solo around, kill shit, discover things on my own. And it's not that I don't really unloading again. It's not that I don't like people. I mean, in the game, of course I do. I'm related to them, but it's just a personality thing, If I'm out on my own exploring stuff, then I can go wherever I want, and I can do whatever I want. And if I decide to harvest a shit ton of aluminum or whatever, just because, well, no one can tell me I shouldn't. You know what I mean? And and not that my bros would ever tell me I shouldn't anyway, but when I'm grouped up with somebody, I feel beholden to, like, do whatever we're doing. But when I'm solo, I feel like I'm free to just do whatever the hell I want. And I'm a fan of that, I'm a huge fan of that. Just the whole running around doing whatever the hell I want. So let's see what's in this bag. Hopefully it's not broken, but if it is, I'll fix it. It's not a big deal. So we've got multiple bags in here. Okay. All right. All right. We've got no bases, but that's okay. I buy my bases from a train company that apparently sells bases, and they're really cheap, This is the only one I'm really worried about being broken. It looks like he's not. So that's good. That's good. Those are usable. And also the first ones are going on bases. Now, I do have, guys, like a few hundred of these 25 millimeter hex bases. And I don't see any problem with those. If you wanted to put figures on little hex bases, you could totally do it. As a matter of fact, way back in the days, in the was it the 90s? Yeah, like when you bought like Citadel miniatures, the original Citadel miniatures like I bought all came with hex bases. It was, it was really weird because that was the era of Ralpartha and everything being mounted on square bases. And I remember ordering some Chaos Lords, Chaos Champions from Citadel. And back when Citadel was a separate thing, really. And they both came with like these 1-inch hex slot of bases. And I just thought that was the weirdest shit, But apparently, it's pretty common with some companies to do that. And okay, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm 100% okay with it. I've got my desert bushes here. I'm going to carefully take them out because they're going to be put on that cliff/deserty area that I've been making. Like, in the shadows of the stone, there's going to be, some stuff growing. And the other thing I'm going to do, because this is a very clean, small container, is I'm going to take my very clean water and fill this mostly up. And the reason is because I am going to start putting symbols on the cells of those ships. That makes sense, Bubba. That makes 100% sense. I just remember the first time I ever saw him, I was like, what in the hell is this all about? You know what I mean? It was just so unknown to me because prior to that time, I really had only dealt with square bases, But I'm talking about way back in the day, Ralpartha and all that. And, hell, half the time when you bought miniatures back then, you'd be lucky if they came with any base. But they all would have like this big puddle beneath them that you could practically use as a base anyway. So again, I'm doing like 5 things at the same time. This is how I work. I just like whatever needs to be done that I happen to look at and say, yeah, I need to get that done. That's what gets done. So I put a wash on all of the dead corpse piles that I'd made a while back. I made a couple, like 20 something of them. And they're all made out of 3D printed body parts, just glued onto a base and then painted as disgusting as I could think of. They kind of go with my necromorph figures, which I got all painted completely. Pretty happy about that. I mean, yeah, if we ever start playing a sci-fi game other than Doom, it would be fun to, at some point, have the players some way. I would say like it could be a big ship like the video game, like the Ishimura. That would be cool. But it could also be like an underground research station on some alien world that's really harsh outside. We're talking like the one world where they sent Riddick and the Russian guys were in charge. Something like that. What was that? Inferno or something like that? I forget what they called it, but you know what I mean, right? So the players are in the base trapped with the necromorphs. Their ships, a mile away. And of course, the necromorphs are not unintelligent. They have their own kind of weird form of group intelligence. So if they had to take a tram to get from the landing bay deep down into the research part of the base, the necromorphs are going to destroy that. Absolutely. They're going to destroy the shit out of that tram because they don't want anybody to escape. And that means eventually the player characters are going to be cruising down their little tram towards the thing, and all of a sudden it's not going to be functioning. And they're going to have to figure out, well, what in the F happened here, So, yeah. It could be an incredibly interesting game where they just have to survive. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would never go back and start putting all my figures on hex spaces. But I don't know. I have no problem with putting some of my newer figures on these hex bases I've got. What happened is I was on eBay and this guy was like, I have 300 hex bases and I'll sell them all for like $10, right? And I read that they were 1 inch or whatever. And I thought, well, those would be perfect for Battletech, right? And I have shit tons of Battletech figures and I could base them up and, 3D print some more and base them up, etc., etc. And when they arrived, they were too small because they were actually 25 mil, 1 inch. And Battletech is like 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches or whatever. So, space sluts. I don't even know what I'm having a hard time even imagining what adventure you're running with a working title of Space Sluts. Like the adventurers land on some far distant. Hey, Hungar, taking a break from Dune or just doing both? If you need any aluminum, by the way, I've got 500 ingots, and you could take 100 of them. Heading to the grocery store, yeah, at 1:30. So let me check our time. Yeah, so in an hour, I actually have to be at the doctor. The REM means, oh, so many. You are an absolute character, my friend. I mean, one thing that's interesting in my D&D game, I have a lot of female players, obviously. None of them ever really try to seduce a guard or anything like that. It's like all the adventuring ladies in my game are like good girls. They're not out there trying to slut it up and, do any. Of course, one's a gnome that's just wanders around giving people free cookies. But it's like, yeah, I don't have any slutty girls in my game. They're all very, like anti that. And I wonder if there's a reason. I don't know. Maybe they just Don't want to be slutty girls in a role playing game. You know, I need to get some milk, and I'm wondering if I'm going to come back home. Ain't that how it goes? You and I know, don't we? Like, Hunger and I know all about that. I'm just going to the store. And then, that shit don't work out. So right now I've got a bunch of glue down and I'm just putting tufts, but I'm putting them like where I imagine there would be shade. Because I don't imagine these little trees, or they're not trees, these bushes of grass or whatever. I don't imagine they'd be growing just in the middle of the desert. So yeah, I'm putting them all up against, there it goes again. I'm putting them all up against the base of a rock outcropping. The thought being that maybe in the middle of the night, dew might gather on the face of this rock cropping and run down. And that's what the plants are surviving on, literally. That's what keeps them alive. Those little bit of, still got to dry, but. And I might put a coat of really fine sand, like construction sand on it. But if I do that, I'll just use like normal glue. And I need to find another one of my foot by foot polystyrene sheets because, of course, I have more. And I don't want to just make them I don't want to just make them single pieces. I want them to be on a board. So, even if I have to spread them extra far apart, I want them to be on the same. Okay, so. Well, these things have been soaking for a while, and they are not letting loose. They're the black sun symbol that Alexander used. Space slut should be an archetype. I'm sure it is. Like in Traveler, I guarantee you there's girls out there that in Traveler, they play space sluts. I would bet you just about anything that is an actual thing. Now, because I have to wait for that. Oh, wait, I still got these miniatures I can show. So this one was labeled Command Group. And I thought, why not? Command Group, right? So let's see what we got here while we're waiting for those to. All right, we've got a guy in a relatively plain uniform with a beret and a tanto knife, or some people would maybe call it a kinjal. And okay, that's cool. Then we've got a couple of officers or privates or whatever they are. And these are the same. These are identical. They're just dudes standing at parade rest. All right. And then we've got another dude who looks like the first dude, but he's in a different pose with his knife. So, And then we've got the third dude, this would be the fifth dude. He's kind of a fat guy and he's got an umbrella. obviously, this is supposed to represent. Somebody tried to make a miniature of Thufir Hawat from the new Dune. Now, if we end up playing Dune, maybe somebody will use this miniature as, because out of a group of 8, 3 people chose Mentat. And that's kind of weird because it's like, okay, what does your Mentat do in the house? You know what I mean? Like, what is its job? You know, usually, like, okay, these guys are from what's called a house minoris. So a minor house that is in some way allied with a greater house. Okay, Atreides, which was one of the great houses, like they were one of the most powerful houses, had 1 Mentat. They had 1 Mentat. This house has got 3. It's like, there are characters I'm very exciting if we play to see how they handle things. Hungar's one of them. Because Hungar chose for his character to be the house champion or commander, which means he is actually in charge of minor house that does nothing but accounting. That's actually not a bad idea. But Hungar's character is in charge of the house military. That has been sent to Arrakis, along with the noble lady Elizabeth Becca, who is a noble lady of House Becca, which is a minor house that is affiliated with House Ordos, and she is also a Bene Gesserit sister. So, who knows? She's being sent there, though. And since I'm using the video game lore, the Atreides never got wiped out. The Harkonnen have their own little area called Harko Village since Carthage got blown up in a las gun versus shield incident, which completely eliminated the city of Carthage right off the map for the most part. Again, letting people know, hey, yes, las guns are awesome, but if you shoot somebody wearing a Holzman shield, you are going to detonate the world. So calm your ass. See, the thing is Holzman shields in the rest of the Imperium are not super common. They're usually only worn during like duels of Canley and stuff like that. So, the most common weapon in the Imperium, therefore, is the laser rifle, the las rifle. Because, I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's badass. It's a laser rifle, right? You can shoot people a long way away and basically burn a hole through them. I mean, and laser rifles in Dune, depending on the power pack they have, they don't fire it like a burst, like in Star Wars, the pew, 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 pew. No, you can cut people. You know what I mean? As long as you got the power to, keep it activated. But, what do we got here? There's not many of them, so let's look and see. Hi there, watching. Yikes, I try to steer clear of that. Try to stay clear of what? Blowing up cities by shooting a laser rifle at a guy wearing a shield. I would say that's a good idea. Okay, this package contains, it looks like Fade Routha in multiple poses, which is okay, including fully armored with a cape, and an Imperial Messenger, which could also be a Mentat, which I would guarantee was a Mentat. But you remember the Imperial Messenger. If you've seen the new Dune movie, he's the one that came out and like watched him sign the paperwork. And Thufir was the one that was like calculating how much money they spent to fly all the way out to Caladan to deliver, a message. So, yeah. I've already got some Bene Gesserit figures and some Spacers Guild figures. So, in case a player decides to become an agent for the Spacing Guild. And we need the Bene Gesserit figures because, one of the main player characters is an actual Bene Gesserit sister. So she may get visits from, her superiors, letting her know what she's supposed to be doing or not. Okay, let's see if I can get this thing to unfold. Don't you hate that when you're trying to put a transfer on and the thing folds up? It's like, come on now. Don't be that way. That's not cool. Nobody likes that. You want to be like them. There we go. Boom. So now that it's on, I need to center it. And make sure that it's, the right, up and down and all that, not out of whatever. So yeah. Now this guy will get let's see if it'll focus in. The cell will get a coat of hard coat, and then it will get a really, really soft tone shade just to bring out, the actual cell. And that is the symbol for Macedonia. So any of the ships that, like this guy right here, he's got the Macedonian tail even. And then, of course, there's where you put the cell. When one misses a kvetch, does it require a kvetch up? You know what's funny is I labeled this kvetching, and then me and or Leth and I have spent the last hour and a half before he left just talking about Marvel superheroes, because I ordered a whole mess of Marvel superhero miniatures, but I don't know why. All I can say is I've been told that making weird random purchases is it's part of my diagnosis, because basically I am always seeking the dopamine hit like a junkie, and ordering things, can give you that dopamine hit short term. So I have to watch myself, and my wife has to watch myself, because I will order stuff I don't need just to get the dopamine hit when it arrives in the mail. No, because I don't like superheroes and never have. Like I watched the X-Men cartoon when it used to come on just because it was something to do. But I mean, other than looking at the original Rogue's fat ass and stuff like that as a teenage boy and being all like, damn, she's hot. I didn't give a shit about that show. I was way more back in that day when most people were buying Marvel comics and being freaked out about the X-Men or whatever. I was absolutely reading like R.E. Howard, hunting, doing a lot of hunting, deer hunting, hog hunting. So for me, yeah, superheroes, the actual spandex superhero archetype is like, uh, I consider it to be kind of lame, but I don't want, my friends to think I'm just being an asshole. So I just say, nah, I never got into it, you know? Now, I did buy comics. Don't get me wrong. I bought Savage Sword of Conan and I bought Dead Poison Elves. So, yeah, I think it was because my mom had me read The Hobbit when I was like in the 3rd grade. And after that, I got so addicted to fantasy and pulp stuff, So by the time I'm in the 6th grade, I'm reading, Lovecraft, uh, Clark Ashton Smith, things like that. And my buddies are buying X-Men comics, which is, like I said, no hate, nothing but love. But for me, I was just like, didn't do it for me, because I was already addicted to sword and sandals or, elves and dragons. And, a bunch of dudes running around with their mutant powers. I was just like, yeah, that's kind of silly, actually. It's like, you look at Magneto. Magneto is an ultra powerful mutant. However, one sniper with a 50 cal sniper rifle half a mile away, and Magneto is dead. Because to my knowledge, Magneto cannot survive a 50 cal hit to the head. Oh my God, that's probably a lot of money. Let me look at something here. So anyway, I got 30 minutes to get ready to go to the doctor, which means put a shirt on that's not covered in paint stains and put pants on and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I've gotten a lot done. I've gotten a lot of miniatures glued to bases and some decals put on cells. So thank you guys for joining me on this adventure of trying to get shit done. And I will talk at you when I see you next. Oh, he collects Camaros too. So yeah. It's kind of like Glenn Danzig collecting every copy of frickin' Mighty Mouse. Some dudes just got it like that, I don't got it like that.